Previously on Trace, they chased a ghost through crash landings and encrypted pings, only to corner a hacker legend who surrendered without a fight, then vanished into the hands of people far above their clearance. The only trail left was a teenager calling herself Tomorrow's Echo, a runaway who rewrote missions like art projects, then disappeared into the skyline. Now the unit's first quiet morning since that chaos twists into something stranger. For not knowing a thing, they've got the clearest image they've ever seen. Sense 3.5D playback runs on loop, the subject's routine unfolding with mechanical precision. Same commute route, same coffee order, same seat, same arm swing when walking to the counter, down to the identical number of stirs every single time. The reconstruction is so steady it starts confusing itself, days spliced together like reruns. No blood, no broken patterns, just perfect, unnerving repetition. Jordan leans on his elbow, muttering, half exhausted, half irritated. Why do I feel like we're grading a college art project instead of investigating a murder? Julio narrows his eyes at the playback, voice dry as stone. You mean crime scene? Looks like a germaphobe with OCD, or a tox report waiting to happen. Maybe meds, maybe allergies. But yeah, it's strange. That's where they start. The bathroom shelf is lined with small square-labeled vials, serums, toners, moisturizers, each one a top-shelf biotech formula. The air carries faint synthetic notes of citrus and tea tree. Trace picks up residue on the sink, the towel rack, even the mirror. Every day it's the same. Apply serum, moisturizer, sunscreen spray. As consistent as brushing teeth. Julio scans the chemical breakdown, lips quirking. Guy's got a face routine that costs more than my rent. No wonder his scent loop's clean. It's basically a product catalogue. Jordan sighs, rubbing at his temple. So our ghost suspect is moisturized, exfoliated, and clinically boring. Great. He exhales, running a hand across his own tired face. Yeah, you're right. Guess the last couple weeks are catching up to me. Probably just a missing person. We'll find him. Julio doesn't waste the opening. What's my sister doing to you? Keeping you up all night with her art projects? He pauses, smirks. Actually, never mind. Don't answer that. Jordan shoots him a look. Oh, come on. You make a good uncle. Julio deadpans. Yeah, it's the making I don't want to think about. The playback stutters again. Coffee steam dissolving into static. The routine repeats. Perfect and wrong. J&J, back to the start. A waitress called it in, supposed to be a wellness check. Said it felt wrong when a face she didn't even know by name skipped his usual order. That face became a name on file. Wayland Lane. The trail leads to his next stop, the betting house. Inside, the air carries the sour mix of stale sanitizer and burnt circuits. The carpet hums with static from too many years of shoes and spilled drinks. A security guard leans against a half-dead kiosk, chewing gum like it owes him money. His badge hangs crooked. His posture says bored for a living. He waves them toward a corner booth, half roped off with a velvet cord that barely counts as a barrier. Every day, he says. Walks up to the third booth, waits his turn if it's not empty. I usually just clip the rope low for him. The rope droops like it's tired of working, low enough anyone could step over, but no one does. The booth itself glows faint orange in standby, humming softly, waiting for its owner like a loyal pet. Julio arches a brow. He really goes to the exact same booth every day? The guard shrugs, snapping gum. Superstition runs this place more than money. One high roller won't gamble unless she's barefoot, says heels block her luck. Jordan leans in, skeptical but polite. That doesn't seem that weird. The guard smirks, chewing louder. Oh, she's not the weird one. Her husband sits under the table, sucking her toes for good fortune. Jordan freezes mid-blink, then mutters, Okay, that's a little kinky. Julio exhales like he's already over it. I guess high rollers can do anything? The gum stops. The guard's smirk fades, his face going flat. This is his casino. That's when a name comes up. Phil McGuire, poker player, quick temper, loud mouth. He's been telling anyone who'll listen that Lane got in his way. Something about that third booth. Julio's eyes narrow. Guy known for a temper or just running his mouth? Jordan cuts in, voice flat. Yeah, does he actually have trouble coming his way? The guard doesn't hesitate. No, not that I know of. Look, Mr. Lane, he wasn't just some routine freak. He helped me, personally. When my daughter was born, she needed heart surgery. I was drowning. He was the only one who noticed. Talked to me, really talked to me. Walked me through the paperwork. The stress helped me stay upright. The gum finally stops in his jaw. His voice steadies, softer now. That guy's not just a regular. He's a good man. The betting house smells like copper wiring and old coffee grounds. Screens hum with half-lost signal, jittering numbers that promise more than they deliver. Jordan and Julio sit across from Phil Maguire, a poker player whose whole reputation is tilt, sunglasses indoors for armor. Leg bouncing like a metronome he can't shut off. He starts bitter, spitting blame, says the dead man cost him a payday. Someone had begged Lane for a small break in the routine, just a shift in the pattern, but Lane never budged. Walked right past, like always. Phil leans forward, his voice dropping low. That day, the third booth was the only one with a view of both games I had running. Hours of preset bets, lined up like dominoes. I'd duck into the bathroom, come back, and the guy's already sitting there. Cleared the queue, whole plan gone, seconds before kickoff. His shoulders slump. The bravado drains out, leaving only frustration. Yeah, I'm bitter, down on my luck. But no, I wouldn't kill a guy. Not over superstition, not even over money. He turns his head, staring past them toward the booths. His tone sinks quieter, almost pitying. That guy's got it worse than me. I can place bets anywhere. He can't leave his routines, even when they cost him. And that's the problem. Every lead smells like routine. And routine doesn't leave room for spontaneous, or for this world. Public transit stop. Damp neon bleeds off the shelter roof, dripping colour onto the pavement. Their case photos look out of place, taped to the flickering screen. Ghosts plastered over an old ad campaign. That's when a voice cuts in. A man shuffles past with his rations, packets of moist highlights clutched like treasure. His jacket hangs shredded at the cuffs. His jaw clicks audibly between words, sharp little hinges working overtime. I know him. Always get off at the same stop. They turn, he grins, half wild, half friendly. Sometimes he'd sit with me. Took me 5 years, though. 5 years of standing there, whether it was just us or the whole train jammed. I'd stand by the seat next to mine, leave it open. Who wants to sit next to a wild man, right? But hey, he snaps his jaw twice, chop, chop, like a living metronome. I don't bite without consent. Jordan raises a brow. Julio folds his arms, waiting. The man barrels on, words tumbling faster. One day, packed full, he gets shoved down, lands in the seat. Embarrassing, right? But then, he doesn't move. The next day walks in, stands there 47 seconds exactly, then flops into the seat next to me. Every time after that, same thing. 47 seconds. Then sit. His voice shifts, softening like someone slipping into a memory. After that, he started talking back. Not much. Just enough. Answers, you know? From someone other than me. It was nice. The man gnaws on a protein bar that looks like it was forged out of cardboard and preservatives. His jaw clicks with every bite, teeth flashing white enough to belong in some old solar gum commercial. He laughs through the chewing. Lane even got me a job once, even found me a place to stay. But I told him, I'm like the shameless dog. I pee where I need to, sleep where it's soft, and as long as I don't bite, I get fed. Julio folds his arms, unimpressed. You're really selling the sympathy angle. The wild man waves him off, eyes glinting like he's in on some private joke. Listen, when I wanted to be bad just to be bad, shameless, he made me see it different. A dog might be shameless, but it ain't dumb. It knows its environment, knows what's allowed and what's not. That's why I started pooping in the trees. Jordan blinks. Julio covers his face. The trees? The man nods, deadly serious. Where no one eats. At first I did it because he asked me to, but now I do it because I understand. He's the only one who understood me. They ride with him to the end of the transit line, the last stop. Buildings slump like drunks, neon drowned in rust. The wild man jabs a finger down a filthy alley that looks like it hasn't seen daylight in years. He goes that way. Jordan narrows her eyes. And you don't? His jaw clicks again. Chop, chop! I'm not a puppy. I know when to follow and when not to. Shameless doesn't mean stupid. Julio gestures at him, exasperated. Okay, put that thing away. The rest of us still have shame. We live in society. Jordan sighs, steady. Let's just follow the lead. No one else around here anyway, and I'm not wasting half a shift on paperwork just to get him locked up. The wild man perks up, grinning with too much gum and too little restraint. Oh, I could use a nice ride. Window open. Even a dirty dog deserves a flea bath once in a while. His grin widens, sharp and toothy. but they'll let me out again before tomorrow's rations. Should I wait here or go find a sunny spot? The alleys bend like a labyrinth. Graffiti tags repeat, mirrored and smeared as if the walls themselves are stuttering. Pipes drip overhead, feeding rivulets into ankle-deep puddles that glow faintly orange beneath run-off neon. They climb under and over. Bridges on bridges, 4 layers stacked, trains above, transit drones below that, freight tunnels sandwiched in between. A city built on shortcuts until the weight of it all blotted out the sun. And under that shadow, out of place like a stubborn dream, sits a house. Not on any map, not in any zoning grid, but it's there. Just the same as an old news clipping about the last family holdout who wouldn't sell. Small, red-white trim. A single-story ranch with a roofless porch leaning on cracked beams, the yard grown thin. Out back, a 3-story silo grafted into the house itself, retrofitted years ago and swallowed by construction. The first bridge had to bend around it. Whole windows and even the balcony are boxed in by steel. They watch from across the street. Sense playback runs his loops. One version mowing the lawn, another trimming shrubs, pulling weeds from a garden that couldn't possibly get sun. Another cleaning windows, sweeping porch planks like ritual. Every loop ends the same way. He goes to the shed, stays just long enough, then back inside, then gone again. Jordan mutters, scanning the playback. Looks like the lawn could use another cut. Who doesn't just rent a drone? It's cheap now. Julio smirks, eyes still on the house. Not sure I'd take that job here, so bets on what's inside. Mummified mother he's been taking care of. Jordan doesn't look away. Not mummified. Maybe more recent. Maybe whatever happened sent him into a spiral. He gestures toward the rest of the block. Boarded storefronts, dark facades, windowless shells. Whole areas dead. New kind of ghost town. No one else even around. Julio shrugs, resting a hand on his sidearm. Nothing like a wellness check in a graveyard. They cross the street. Porch boards groan under their boots, paint curling at the edges like burnt paper. They knock. They stood at the porch too long, watching the loops replay. Julio shifted, hand on his sidearm. 5-1 says he's got a shrine in there. Candles, photos, maybe a lock of hair. Jordan shook his head, eyes on the dark windows. No, I'm calling spiral, something recent. Bet it's a body. Julio smirked. Fine, body, but I'm betting not embalmed. Loser buys the next coffee run. Jordan's jaw tightened, but he leaned in. Deal. And then his boots splintered the door. They stormed inside, flashlights cutting through stale shadows. First impression, clutter stacked in neat, deliberate piles. Rations, weeks, maybe months' worth, lined floor to ceiling. Second impression, an elderly woman in bed, wires and sensors webbing her temples, chest rising slow, steady. Julio froze. She's, Jordan cut him off, alive, but unattended. They rushed forward like rookies at their first fire, fumbling for vitals, yanking blankets, calling it in, arguing over the readouts, and by the third check they weren't even talking about her anymore, just circling old gripes like petty digs that usually stayed unspoken until the stress pulled them loose. Then a voice snapped from behind. Stop panicking. She's fine. An EMT stepped through the threshold, rain dripping from his hood, toolbox in hand. He looked more irritated than concerned. You trace people always think the world ends the second you see wrinkles. Supplies are stocked for months. Logs show someone's been topping her up regular until recently. She's not starving. She's not neglected. Jordan exhaled, embarrassed. Julio muttered under his breath, could have fooled me. The EMT gestured to the headset locked across the woman's face. She's not offline. She's running a VR channel. That's why you're not getting responses. Jordan frowned. Channel? Game mode, the EMT corrected, shrugging like this was Tuesday. She's logged in. If you want to talk to her, you'll have to jump in too. The sync helmets clamp down, hum with static. Then the world blinks. Julio materializes in a generic low-level cop skin. Blue polyester, crooked badge, baton like a toy. He stares down at himself. Are you kidding me? Jordan drops in beside him, gleaming like a legend. Black silver armor, cloak of shifting code, a sword so massive it looks like it eats sons for breakfast. Julio groans. So I guess you've been here before. Jordan smirks, testing the blade's weight. Julio throws up his hands. Great, you get Excalibur and I get Rent-A-Cop. Jordan swings the sword in a lazy arc, sparks biting into the ground. Balance patch must have hit. Try not to embarrass the family. Julio mutters, half under his breath. Not like this man, not as a nerd. The smirk widens. Jordan pivots. Blade flashing. Respawn timer slams across Julio's HUD. 5 minutes. Are you kidding me? Julio shouts as his avatar dissolves. I called you a nerd and you killed me? Scene 9, the encounter. It only gets worse. Julio's screen floods with tutorial prompts. First death triggers a mandatory hand-holding sequence, movement keys, stamina bar, practice baton swings. 10 minutes gone before he even respawns. Jordan waits at the fast travel map, sword balanced on his shoulder. When Julio finally reappears, grumbling, his HUD flashes again. Free trial expired. 179.99 to continue, the system chirps. Julio fumes. Oh, this is definitely getting refunded. I wouldn't even be in this mess if somebody didn't decide to cosplay Black Knight and slice me down. Jordan just shrugs, calm as ever. Guess you should have thought twice before calling me a nerd. Julio points the flimsy baton at him. You know what's nerdy? Murdering your brother-in-law in a video game. Jordan grins. Balance patch. Don't blame me. Another 20 minutes and one reluctant payment later, they step through marble doors into the throne room, pillars gilded, sand drifting across mosaic floors, braziers roaring with holographic fire. And there she is. The woman they left frail and wired to machines, now radiant, impossibly young. Cleopatra in crown and gold, attendants fanning her with peacock-coated feathers. She doesn't smile. Her throne defenses ignite. Walls of spears shudder up from the ground. AI guards bristle with weapons. Jordan raises his blade. Julio raises his toy baton. And the standoff begins. The marble doors grind open, and the throne room unfolds like a kingdom preserved in amber. Gilded pillars rise toward an endless ceiling. Sand drifts across the mosaic floor, carried by phantom winds that smell of incense and copper. Braziers roar with holographic flame, shadows swaying across walls painted with war and worship. Cleopatra sits on her throne, radiant and young, a crown glinting on her brow. Attendants fan her with peacock-coated feathers, their eyes blank, coded reverence on loop. She doesn't smile. The air hardens as her defenses flare. Walls of spears shimmer up from the ground, forming a jagged cage. AI guards manifest in full bronze armor, shields interlocking, weapons drawn. Their footsteps thunder as they close in, the sound rolling like drum beats through the hall. Jordan shifts into his avatar's full command presence. Black silver armor glowing, sword leveled but steady. Beside him, Julio looks absurd in his blue polyester cop skin, baton trembling in his grip. His HUD still chirps tutorial hints, a cruel joke at the worst time. Julio mutters, voice low, hot with frustration. This is ridiculous. I didn't even want to be here. Now I'm about to get skewered like a kebab by software. Jordan's voice cuts sharp. Wait. Cleopatra's chin tilts, eyes narrowing like knives. The guards freeze mid-step, though their spears remain braced for blood. Jordan lowers his weapon, green mohawk glowing now that his helmet's off. We're not here to fight. A long silence stretches. Finally, her defenses flicker and fade, spears dissolving into sparks, guards retreating to stillness. You're not assassins, she says slowly. Good, I've had enough of those. She rises, gliding forward with the weight of centuries in her voice. So why are you here then? Jordan holds her gaze. Wayland Lane. The name makes her pause, crown tilting. Is that a gamer tag, or... Julio starts to shrug, but she cuts herself off. Oh, yes, Wayland Lane. Her fingers brush the edge of her crown, trembling now. My nephew hasn't woken me in I don't know how long. He was supposed to check in. He always checks in. Her voice falters, but she pushes through. He's a very private person. A good boy, always looking out for me. He used to live across the street. I watched him grow up. Not really family, but after my accident, I let him stay in the old silo out back. He was the only one who came to see me. Even after I told him the machines automate my orders, he still came. Refilled my supplies, sent a text or two, then went back to his orphanage. Jordan stiffens. His armor gleams brighter, military formality radiating from his stance. Did you say his orphanage? She blinks, as if catching herself. Did I? Yes, his. Private person. Here's the address. A parchment flickers into existence, glowing with coordinates. He always went there after visiting me. I really hope he's okay. But that's all I can say. The hall fades to static. Attendants bow. The braziers dim, and then the throne itself dissolves into empty code. Scene 11, the orphanage. The Undercity veers stranger still. Between towers of glass and neon, tucked like a forgotten relic, sits a worn-down orphanage. Windows dark, playground rusted, paint peeling in tired curls. Inside, the director sits behind a desk swallowed by file boxes stacked higher than her head. Dust floats in shafts of light undisturbed for years. Jordan and Julio wait as she rifles through records, her hands practiced but slow. Finally, she pulls a folder, its label faded, alias nearly erased. She lays it open. The name doesn't match, but the face does. Wayland Lane. The paper trail doesn't end at the orphanage, it twists deeper. Every account they dig into, every ghost entry in the ledgers points to one name the city hasn't spoken in years. Reginald Carrick, an eccentric benefactor, old money, allergic to the spotlight. Famous once for saying, "I strive to do what's right because it's right." A line mocked in boardrooms but whispered like gospel in back alleys. Carrick vanished nearly a decade ago after losing control of his company in a hostile takeover. The mission, profitless on purpose, good as the point, was gutted in weeks. Stripped to a shell, the city barely noticed. Too busy chasing faster returns. But his name is back, and it's all over their case. His name vanished from headlines, his money never stopped moving. Through trusts, false directors, and cut-out shell companies, Carrick funneled funds into orphanages, emergency med units, even the tech stack Trace runs on. The team's entire division, every Sense 3.5D upgrade, every back-alley contract that kept them afloat when budgets bled dry, paid for by a man everyone thought was gone. Julio says it flat, almost bitter. All this time, we thought Trace survived on scraps. Turns out we've been living on Carrick's pocket change. Jordan doesn't argue, just watches the old photographs scroll across the screen. Carrick shaking hands with students, cutting ribbons at shelters, smiling the way people do before the city wears them down. The man they're chasing, the ghost with routines so precise they looked like camouflage, wasn't just a missing person. He was the reason Trace existed at all. Benefactor. Not just here, across 3 other shelters, a scholarship fund, even the anonymous grant that had once kept their professor afloat. The same professor who first introduced them to forensic scent theory. Without that money, there'd be no class, no training, no Trace division, no J&J. Julio leans against the cracked radiator, stunned. So we've been chasing the reason we even exist. Jordan just nods, eyes on the folder. Yeah, and he never wanted credit. Scene 11, transit station, pre-finale. The transit station hums with tired fluorescent light, the kind that makes shadows look nervous. Rust bleeds from the ceiling supports, puddles ripple whenever a train passes. The air is heavy with damp concrete and the lingering bite of ozone from overhead cables. A woman in a faded uniform leans against the counter, twisting her retirement badge between her fingers. Her eyes flick to the cameras above, then back to Jordan and Julio. He had a routine, she says, voice tight. Halfway down the platform, turn, slap the wall, jog back, then resume the original path. Every day, no exceptions. Julio leans over the playback monitor, watching the loop repeat. Lane spins, jogs, slaps the wall, turns, again. Julio mutters, dry as ever. Guy turned his commute into cardio. Jordan just watches, jaw set, as the screen plays the same motion one more time. No breaks, no hesitation. Only the ghost of a man who never missed a step. The station hums like it's alive, every breath a tired machine. Fluorescent tubes buzz overhead, throwing jittery shadows across cracked tile. Below, trains grind through tunnels, the rumble shaking loose dust that drifts down like ash. The whole place feels like it's waiting for something to break. The woman fidgets with her badge chain, twisting it so tight her knuckles blanch. Her voice comes out steady, but there's doubt behind it. This place was built with 2 channels, one for foot traffic, one for the runoff. They're supposed to stay out of each other's way, always timed. That's how the system works, at least how it's supposed to. On the playback screen, Lane keeps looping. Arm swing precise, wall slap exact, jog back to his starting point, again and again. My break always came 20 minutes after he passed, she says. Every day, same time, same pace. Then one week it was 15, then 12, every cycle a few seconds shaved off. I filed a work order, thought maybe the timers were slipping. Nobody listened. Her shoulders sag. A breath slips out heavy, like a secret. I even warned him once, told him he was cutting it close. He just smiled, wished me a happy birthday. I never asked how he knew. He was like that. Not much talk, but he noticed things. The silence stretches. Water rushes through the runoff below, echoing against concrete. Lane's loop plays on, like a ghost jogging circles inside the system. When he didn't show, I got nervous, she says, finally. After a few days, I asked security to pull the tapes. They told me not to worry about it, told me to leave it, and I didn't push. Her fingers knot tighter around the chain. I didn't want to think it was a cover-up. I was a week from semi-retirement. Half the hours, 2/3 the pay. I told myself, don't make trouble. Not now, not this close to getting out. Jordan studies the playback, voice low, unsettled. So you don't know what happened? She shakes her head, eyes locked on the screen. All I know is the timers kept slipping, and the man who never broke his routine just stopped showing up. The platform rattles as another train claws past, drowning them in noise. Then silence. A silence broken by the sharp chirp of their comms, encrypted, off-channel. Not trace, not official, echo. The feed cuts in, grainy and tilted, Lane swept into the surge, arms thrashing as water swallows the platform. For the first and last time, the routine shatters. A caption scrolls in pale green. They knew. Already deleted. Don't fall behind. Jordan stares at the glow, reflection burning in his eyes. How can she already have this? Is she that fast, or has she been waiting for us to catch up? Julio smirks, thumbing his wrist screen, voice bent with crooked pride. Don't care. I owe her a drink. Jordan blinks. For what? Julio flashes his pad, scrolling text bright against the polyester avatar uniform. She already did most of my paperwork. At this rate, I'm up for a promotion. Jordan groans, pinching the bridge of his nose. You realize that means I'd have to call you, sir. Julio grins wider, savoring it. Don't worry, bro. I'll make it sound casual. The grin fades. His voice drops lower, bitter, like a man replaying fresh pain. Wait, that's bullshit. I'm still fighting that grievance right now. Can you believe they said no to refunding me for that game? Went back and forth, and you know what they sent me? He thumbs the pad again, scowling. The flicker of denial letters and grievance forms glows against the tired concrete walls as the sound of trains fades into nothing. Chew. The caption hovers beneath Echo's warning. It'd be good for me to relax and play a little. Give it a try. Jordan squints at the screen, deadpan. What is this? A self-care tip? Or a threat? He glances at Julio. Want me to send you a like and subscribe power-up? Julio snorts, shaking his head. Nerds. Another ping blinks across their comms, brighter this time. Careful, we stick together. Click here in-game. Power-up unlock Super Poindexter bifocal glasses. Grants +3 insight, +1 mockery. Lets you read fine print at 50 paces and spot weak arguments through walls. Julio groans, rubbing his temples. Great. Now she's handing out DLC. Jordan chuckles. Can't help it. Don't knock it. You'd look good in bifocals. Julio mutters. Over my dead avatar. At the corner where Lane once paused, staring at nothing, just letting the day reset, routine had become legend. Years ago, the spot offered a view of the river until construction walled it off. Now the only thing left was an old, overgrown pay binocular stand, its lenses fixed squarely on a blank brick wall. What started as a modest fund for a memorial tripled its goal overnight, enough to build a place for others to stop, to find their own bit of routine. So they gave him a statue. Bronze Lane, seated on a bench, coffee cup in hand. A modest fountain garden encircles him, a few empty seats left open for company. The rain comes down light, almost polite, slicking the bronze so it looks alive, as though he might raise the cup to his lips at any second. Neon from the transit hub bends across the puddles, flickering orange and blue on the wet pavement. And for once, in a city that forgets faster than it remembers, people stop. They leave flowers. They stand. They wait. The waitress sets down a wrapped sandwich like she's handing him lunch. The gambler places a faded betting slip, careful like an offering. The security guard rests a hand against the bronze, as though clocking in for one more shift. And even the wild man appears, soaked to the bone, tearing open a ration pack and tossing it on the ground like it belongs in the pile. From the corner projector, Cleopatra's hologram flickers to life. The figure he once looked after, still alive inside the game. She doesn't speak, only glows faintly above the fountain garden, rain scattering through her crown of light. None of them speak at first. They don't need to. Their presence says enough. Every routine he kept, coffee, bets, bus rides, lawn work, stitched their lives together without them ever realizing it. Then the limo pulls up. Black paint too clean for this block. Tinted glass too dark for this crowd. The politician steps out alone, suit pressed sharp enough to cut. The twins stay inside, two silhouettes blurred in the window. He approaches the statue, places a single white rose into the bronze coffee cup, and says softly, "Promise kept." Julio leans toward Jordan. "You believe that?" Jordan doesn't answer. The silence hangs. Then the wildman barks a laugh, jaw clicking loud enough to break the air. "Just like the promise you made to Mom, Marky?" The crowd freezes. The politician straightens his tie, doesn't meet a single eye, and slips back into the limo. Tires hiss on wet asphalt as the car glides away. Behind the tinted glass, two identical faces shift in eerie unison, then turn away. The rose trembles in the bronze cup. The rain keeps falling, and the statue keeps stirring.